So out of respect, I wanted to wait a couple of weeks to make this video about why we cannot allow the Christian religion or Catholic religion or any religion to take political power, not in America, not anywhere else. Now, the reason I wanted to wait is I wanted to wait out of respect for Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk's family and all the people that support Charlie Kirk. I support Charlie Kirk. I think he was an amazing force in the political arena, but I also realize he was a very religious guy. His family is very religious. Most of his supporters are very religious, which is okay. All right, let me start by saying that. No beef, right? As a matter of fact, I am not religious, but I am completely squarely on the side of the Christians who are getting absolutely persecuted. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious. Christians are getting attacked basically all over the world, not just in America. And I believe that those Christians should fight back. And I am on their side. Where I diverge is when they start cudgeling me with their religion, right? That I don't want. See, everybody has the right to believe in what they want. I wish I could have the kind of faith that they have. To me, there's just way too much evidence out there. In my whole life, you know what I'm saying? I have seen much, much more evidence to my theory than to theirs. But look, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not an atheist. I'm an agnostic. That means if I was delivered some proof that God is real, then how could I not believe, right? But up till now, my logical brain points to everything against it, right? So I can't get myself to that point where I can just let go of the wheel and leave it in God's hands. I just can't do it. You know what I mean? I wish I could. I just can't do it. But that doesn't mean I have a beef against those people that can. You're allowed to believe in what you want, say what you want, live how you want, do what you want, if it was up to me, right? I don't want to be anybody's boss, okay? I don't want to tell people how to live because I don't want people telling me how to live. It's that simple. But it's a fact that every time in the past that a religion has had political power, state power, power over other regular people that don't want to be part of the ideology, right? That it's gone badly. It's gone badly. I mean, look at all of the witch burnings. Look at the Crusades. You know, there's so many examples of the Christian so-called nonviolent religion at Catholics that there's so many things that they did that were just not okay. Okay. Now, okay, the argument against it is, well, we've learned from that now and we don't do that anymore. But they'll do it still in other ways. Like when I was growing up and in school, that was around the Tipper Gore era. If you remember that, if you're my age, I'm almost 50. You remember at school, the religious zealots were out there trying to make rules for everybody else. You can't listen to rap music unless you're 18. They were trying to ban porn everywhere, even though it wasn't as rampant at all as when the internet came out like now. Every time I dated a girl in high school, I had to go to meet her parents and go through the talk. Are you Christian? Do you believe in God? And every time I would have to say no, and it would be a big contentious fucking problem. They couldn't accept that I didn't believe in it. You know what I'm saying? Just couldn't. And they tried to force our relationships to break up. They tried to cudgel me into believing anyway. I don't want that. That's one of the things that turned me against religion when I was a kid, right? I was like, whoa. I'm not telling you people how to live. What the fuck's going on? You know what I mean? And look, if it's a societal thing, right? Like in the case of me dating a girl, you know what I mean? Then it's up to me to withstand that, right? But when it's the government or when it's the politicians that are religious zealots and using their religious beliefs to make policy for other people, right? I don't agree with that. I want religion to not have power over everybody. Religion can have power over those that believe in it, but not over those that don't, like me, okay? So, once again, I am on your guys' side in your fight against getting slaughtered for whatever reason. I mean, that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? You guys are getting definitely persecuted. I believe it. I see it with my own eyes. You can't deny it. And I am squarely on your side, right? Where I will no longer be on your side if at the moment you try to force down your morals and your values onto me. And that's what happens when religion gets political power, right? It's always happened. So it happened during the time when I was a kid, right? They weren't crusading, they weren't burning witches. No, but they were telling us what we could do, what we could smoke, what we could watch, what we could listen to. And that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody else asserting some sort of authority over me unless it's a voluntary relationship, such as I allow my boss to have authority over me because I agree to work for him for a certain amount of money. I see that there is the hierarchy. He is an authority figure in my life, but I can also quit my job if I don't like it, right? With the political arena and political power and state power, you can't opt out, right? Which pisses me off. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things I would opt out of. I don't want to fucking play a lot of these games that the governments are doing, even under Trump, you know? So, to me, every ideology is dangerous. Every ideology is dangerous, or could be dangerous, has a potential for danger. Let's put it like that. Islam is an ideology that is clearly dangerous. Not potential, it's clearly dangerous. Christianity is an ideology that is potentially dangerous. Currently, it's not really dangerous, but it's shown aggressiveness and violence in the past. And I have no doubt that if a religion takes political power, even in America, if they can't get their way by talking, they will use force, whether it's political force, violent force, whatever. I don't want a religion having control over my life or the lives of people that aren't part of the religion. See, I think Scientology, as I make this point all the time, but I think Scientology is insane, right? It's insane. It's wacky. And again, they also get violent with heretics, right? They also, they have some nasty tricks they've done. I mean, you watched the Leah Remini about Scientology when she's left, and she's done lots of fucking work exposing Scientology. These motherfuckers are nuts, okay? Tom Cruise, nuts. I think Scientology has something on Tom Cruise keeping him there, or the guy's just a lunatic. I mean, which I can't believe almost, because he's a really good actor. You know, he seems like a pretty smart dude, and yet he is part of this club as their big mascot with his big fucking golden medal. You know what I mean? It's madness to me, right? Madness. But the reason I don't fight against them or want to get them banished is the relationship for Scientology is a voluntary one. Somebody wants to go believe in Scientology. They're welcome to the club, and they volunteer to go into that club. That's their right. You know what I'm saying? That's their right. And it's up to them. If they want out, they got to get out. They got to have the willpower, the self-strength to exit from that group. That's not my problem. And I don't have any beef with Scientology. I think they're nuts. Don't have any beef. But the reason why that is because if Tom Cruise shows up to my house wearing his big fucking gold medal and tells me that I can't smoke weed, or I've got to fucking pray to L. Ron Hubbard or whatever, I can just go, fuck off, Tom Cruise, and shut my door, and that's the end of the story. Nothing Tom Cruise can do can make me do anything Tom Cruise wants. Not a fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? So, Tom Cruise and Scientology is not a danger for me. But I have lived through a period and know enough about history that if you give a religion political power or power over other people in any way, they will use it, and they will abuse it, and they will misuse it, because it's still people running the religion. You know what I'm saying? It's not God, it's people. I mean, look at the Catholic Church. They still have not solved their pedophile problem. Everybody fucking in the world knows about it. They know that these priests have been moved to other places to avoid getting prosecuted, to avoid getting caught. They are allowing it under their nose to continue, and nothing is being done. And everybody that is Catholic still goes, well, you know, we'll just ignore that. You know, if the fucking CEO of, well, let's say Elon Musk, right? Let's say Elon Musk turned out to be a pedophile enabler, like the Catholic Church is, right? How many people would still buy a Tesla? Probably no one, right? They'd be like, nah, fuck that. I'm not supporting that. Yet, if it's Catholics, it's all cool. Wow. You know what I mean? Wow. Sorry. See, that's one of the things that turns me against religion, right? It's shit like that. It's fucking bonkers, right? Also, the idea that you can do any fucked up evil thing in your life and just continue over your whole life, as long as you go into a little wooden box and tell your local priest about all those bad things you did, it's cool. You're cool. You're good to go. You're getting in, bro. That's madness. That's crazy. And lastly, the forgiveness thing, I got a problem with that, because human beings generally only learn that they've done something bad and stop doing that bad thing if that bad thing is done to them, right? Just a lot of times people don't understand what they are doing to other people unless they feel that same pain or that same persecution. I don't know what you want to call it, but they have got to feel what they do. That's how people, unfortunately, I wish it was different. I wish you could just talk to people and say, yo, bro, that was pretty fucked up what you did. You know what I'm saying? And they go, damn, dude, you're right, man. That was fucked. I won't ever do that again. And that would be the end of it. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. But that's not reality, right? That's not reality. The reality is people are going to continue to take advantage of other people until they are forced to stop, right? And the way to force them to stop is to show them what they have done and make them feel or take their own medicine. Let's put it that way. That's why I say all the time, fighting the woke left off is not going to work with just morals and finger wagging and talking. Dude, they've got to feel what they are doing, right? That's what they got to do. The same with the fucking deep state politicians and all that shit. These motherfuckers got, James Comey and Brennan and all them shits, they got to go to prison for a long time. So that all these Democrats and all these Republicans and all these corrupt motherfuckers see, well, wait a second. If we do this, this can happen to us, and we're not going to do that. So that would be the end of that shit. But if you don't hold these people accountable, they're going to laugh in your fucking face and say, you be a good Christian and forgive me. And as soon as you close your eyes, I'm sticking you in the fucking neck. That's what it is. That's the reality in which we live, right? That's why I cannot have faith that God will take care of shit. And there's just too much evidence that that there is no difference between those that have faith and those that don't. Look at Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk would have been, like, in my mind, one of God's best disciples. You know what I'm saying? Who better than Charlie Kirk to spread the word of God and religion? I mean, he was doing a fucking hell of a job, man. You know, he still is, even though he's dead. He's still doing a hell of a job. And yet God chooses to take him out? That's crazy to me. That's crazy. That makes no sense. So to me, and I know there's one argument I can think of myself that may be the reason why God would let Charlie Kirk go. And that is to wake the right and wake the Christians up. Like, God may have been thinking, okay, Charlie's doing a great job, but the talking is not enough. These people are going to get slaughtered if they don't start taking this shit seriously. Maybe Charlie was God's way of making these people take this shit seriously. Okay? Possible. That's a possibility. I take that into consideration 100%. But the reason why I'm making this video now is because every podcast I watch, every right-winger I see at the moment, right? All they can talk about all day, every day is Jesus, God, the Bible, the gospel, the revivals, the blah, blah. Look, and hey, that's their right, dude. That's their right. And I'm not going to shut them down or turn them off or never watch them again because of that, because I'm not offended by it. I'm just like, okay, my problem is what they seem to want is they want to have moral control over America. And I think there's a lot of people within the Trump administration that are religious zealots like this. And they would impose their religion, not like you have to believe, but they would impose their religious values, what they think is morally right and morally wrong. They would for sure use government power to impose that shit on the rest of us, right? Bibles in schools. Well, there we're going to have that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and then they say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, what's wrong with that is I, as a kid, would not have sat through a religious class. I would have refused to do it. That would have caused me trouble and problems. Even though, why should I subject myself to religious teachings and talkings when I'm not a believer and I don't want anything to do with it? When I'm against ideology, I'm not allowed to be against ideology? Oh, well, that's weird. So, yes, I think that the problem, what's going to happen is if the religious right takes power in America, it's not happened yet. I know that they're trying. If they take power in America, what's going to happen is a left-wing backlash, right? It's going to be, people are going to go, whoa, 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 whoa. We didn't sign up for this shit, okay? You can be religious, you can be Christian and Catholic and all that shit, but I don't want to live under this type of rule. And what's going to happen is Democrats are going to get elected again. We don't want that, people. These people are absolutely crazy. If I had to choose between living under a religious government of Christianity and the woke left, of course I would take religious Christianity government. Friggin' no, hands down, bro. No, I would take it. You know what I mean? But I don't want either, right? And it's not a choice I should have to make. It's not a choice you should have to make. I plead with these people and all of the people that are watching those people talk and listening to those people. Keep your religion to yourself, to your neighbors, to your closest friends, to your loved ones, and to those who will listen to you, right? Do not use political power to cram your values down on the rest of us. I don't want that. And I don't think anybody wants that. And the result of it's going to be leftists are going to win the day again in the future. Because I lived through it, right? During the Reagan and Bush years, that was Republican right-wing governments. And they were imposing religious values. Again, what music you can listen to as a kid, what music is allowed on TV, who, you know what I'm saying? We don't want we don't want adults even having access to pornography, blah, blah, you name it. The abortion thing, that's a problem, right? These people, some of these people, if given the power, they would ban abortion completely. For everybody. No, even if you are a 12-year-old that got raped by your uncle, you got to have that kid, bro, because it's God said so. That's bananas. So, I'm pleading with you guys. Please, make sure these people do not get political power. Okay? Not because they're bad people, not because I see any malice in them individually. But when an ideology gets galvanized and grows and gets bigger and gets power, they will use it against you. And that I want to avoid. I'm sorry that I tried to put this as nice as I possibly can. Again, I've got no beef with any religious people. And for the Christians, I'm on your side. As long as you don't try to impose yourself on my life. Everything is cool. We're buddies. That's all I got to say. So I'm for maximum freedom. Not for maximum religion. No ideology should have governmental political power over other people that are not part of the ideology. That's all I got, guys. All right, take it easy.